And we've made it to day 7, which means a full week has passed for me to post videos. So 7 videos are posted on my YouTube right now. And today I want to talk about my favorite movies from the 80s. I'm only going to touch on 5. This doesn't mean it's my top 5, but 5 of the most important 80s movies for me. And next week I'm going to cover the 90s, the week after that the 2000s, and then the 2010s, and maybe even sometime later this year the 2020s. Let's get started on the 80s. At number 5, I have actually 2 movies. I was struggling to decide which one I should go with. Both are science fiction movies, and they are Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. In different points of my life, these movies meant something else to me. Ghostbusters was actually the one I watched first, and that's because of the TV show. I watched the animated show as a kid, and then when I got a little older, I think around 10 or something, I watched this movie, and it was just so fun. It was just a beautiful movie. And Back to the Future is one of the most influential movies ever. I mean, this movie inspired so many others, and it inspired me. It's just a wonderful, perfect movie. Both of these movies I consider perfect. At number 4, I have Batman 1989, the Batman movie that really made me fall in love with this character. You can say whatever you want, but Michael Keaton will always be my favorite Batman. I do love all the other versions of Batman, but this is the one that I grew up on, the one that made me love Bruce Wayne and the characters, the one that pulled me into comic books and comic book films. And it's also the movie that probably started this whole movement of comic book movies. You can argue that Superman started it, but I think this is actually the starting point where things just started to fall into place for comic book characters and superheroes. Number 3, I chose The Breakfast Club. It was either this or Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Both, I think, are magnificent movies. Ferris Bueller is currently in my top 4 movies of all time. So that's why I chose this one for this list. It is just a fun, awesome movie that really dives into the mind of a teenager. I think there's still a lot that we can find in this movie, even though it's set in the 80s days, that can still resonate with us in the modern times. And number 2, I have Raiders of the Lost Ark. You can argue with me about what's the best Indiana Jones movie. This is the first one I saw, and this is the one that made me love this character. I do think these action adventure movies of the 80s were just freaking awesome. I can watch them over and over again, and each time I just get pulled into the adventure, and I just love the story and the action and the characters. Indiana Jones is legendary, Harrison Ford is legendary, and I was actually excited for Dial of Destiny, even though it sucks. And number 1, I have, I guess most people can guess, The Empire Strikes Back, which is to this day still the best thing that came from the Star Wars franchise. It's the best Star Wars movie, and it's no debate. You can't say anything that will change my mind. The Empire Strikes Back is one of the best space opera, science fiction movies, or Star Wars movie, or just awesome movie. It is just awesome. The original Star Wars is fantastic, but this one just kicked it up a notch, and it's rare that the sequel is actually better than the first movie, even though the first movie was almost perfect. So that's my top 5 80s movies. Let me know what yours are, and I will see if I can do an extended list sometime in the future.